Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Grit and Grace podcast. My name is Dina Lyons, and I'm here with Lucy Escobar, who is oh my goodness, where do I start? I have your list here, and it's like, wow, you're a mom, very proud
Yes.
mama, a grandmother, a business owner, an executive coach, community leader, and frankly, I just think you're just so inspirational. Like you're really, to me, exactly why I wanted to do this podcast, Lucy, is you're it, because I wanted to start this podcast. For those of you who don't know, I wanted to start this podcast. I was meeting with women in our community at the chamber, which this is how we know each other, is through the chamber. And I'm meeting with women all the time. And I was just flat out, honestly inspired, caught off guard. And I'm with women all the time. But as I met with each one, it's like, how does she do all these things she's doing? And how does she do what she's doing? And she's a mom and a grandmother. She's a sister, a daughter, does all these things in the community. She volunteers everywhere, and she does all this other stuff professionally. And I was just so taken back by other women that I was like, I think I want to do a podcast with other women, because women are very nurturing, right? We're very community. We want to pour into each other. We want to share what we have learned, because what we've learned, we're like, oh, younger generation, or people who are maybe even just a friend who's one step behind us going, help, what am I doing? We're so ready to share. And so it's when we met for coffee, it was like, I got to have you on the podcast, because I have so much I could learn from you, and so much that our community can be inspired by you, whether they're on the East Coast and want to be like, I've always dreamed of doing something like that. Or, they're sitting in their home and stay-at-home mom and thinking, I'm so overwhelmed in the roles that I am. I just think you're it.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for inviting me here to your podcast. And I was super excited to be here and to honor you as well with creating this platform for other women to come in and share the story. And I always believe that no matter where you are in life, your life inspires others, right?
Yeah,
Even if you're
I
feeling
agree.
depressed right now, if you're feeling like you're questioning yourself, there's somebody else that is looking at you and said, wow, I want to be like her. She's
Yeah.
strong. She has grit, right? And she has faith and she's able to move forward. So I'm so excited about the introduction that you made about me because I first call myself a mother. Like that's my priority.
Yes. Tell me about her. Tell me about your son, Delfino. Is that
Yes, Delfino,
Delfino?
my son, he's almost 30 and he's just a wonderful human being. I tell you, I'm honored to be his mother. I had so much fun with him. There's so much love and respect for one another. And he got married about 2 years ago, uh, and to my beautiful daughter-in-law. And my second job, I said, as far as being a mother, then I get to be a mother-in-law. I get to do that. I get to build that relationship with my daughter-in-law and support her as much as I can. And now they have given me a beautiful grandson. His name is Evian Kai. And of course, I'm drooling over that. I'm always messaging with this grandma voice. This is grandma checking in. How things going? How can I support? Can I come over? You guys go work out and do your thing and let me serve you, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
like my primary job. And then I'm also a fur mom, which means I have a labradoodle and then I have a cute little cat. And, I'm a woman of faith. I think that I'm standing here before you today in this podcast. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here, right? With the
Yeah.
woman that I am today, with the mindset that I have, with this abundance and wonderful things that I get to see every single day of
It's
my
true.
life. And, just an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. And I hope that we're able to inspire other women. If not, at least thank you for the opportunity to share my story.
Yeah. Oh, you're really inspirational. You mentioned your daughter-in-law.
Mhm.
I have 5 kids, and I love all the individuals that my four. All of them are with somebody for a pretty long time at this point. My youngest is the only single one. And I adore all the significant others. And my oldest is married. I love her son. My son-in-law, I mean, her husband, my son-in-law is just such a servant heart, always willing to learn. And then my three in between, they're not married yet, but they're with their significant others for years at this point. And I adore each one of them. So what I want to ask you is, you know, when you think of your granddaughter, I mean, your daughter-in-law, tell me some things about her, because I think it's such an honor when another one enters the family. You're like, you're quite different, and yet you fit in here perfectly somehow.
Yes,
That I didn't even
yes.
expect. Like for each of them, you're like, you're actually better than I even expected. Tell me
You
about her.
know, I just love her and her family. I think that that's one of the things that I was praying for. I was praying for a woman that could help my son grow and for them to build a family and to be the support for one another. And I see that in her. I see that she's always lifting my son up. She is always serving. She's, always wanting to do her family is first. And that to me is
Yeah.
so precious, right? Because in this world, in this society that we live in right now, material things seems to be sometimes a shiny object for a lot of people, and for
Yeah.
her it's about creating memories. So she knows what she wants, and I love that about her. She has a clear vision. I remember when my son came to me and he said, "Mom, I'm planning to propose to Danae." That's her name, Danae. What are your thoughts? And I said, "Honey, I love her."
How
Yes.
long did they date before?
Yeah, they did for 6 years. So
Yeah. Okay.
yes, 6 years, and they grew together, and it was just beautiful. And um, I remember, typically a bride wants a bridal shower, right? And I asked Danae, and I said, Danae, what would you like me to make for your bridal shower? And she's like, you know what? I really don't want a bridal shower. And I said, well, why don't we go to dinner? You and your mom, why don't we go to dinner together and we just have, a nice conversation? And as I was driving there, I'm like, I need to ask her a question. And that question was, what do you desire from life? Um,
Oh, that's a good one.
I know. And
Why that? I'm curious why that question.
yes, I wanted to ask her that because I wanted to know her intentions, like in her heart and her vision. I wanted to know, like, how can I support her in that? And I think that that's one of the beautiful things that I get to do. I get to support her in her vision with my son and now my grandson, right? And I could
Oh,
be as supportive as they want me to be and not be offended if I'm not about, if they do things and I'm not invited, I'm okay. If it's a holiday and I'm not with them, but if they want to celebrate New Year's Day on the 5th of January, I'm comfortable with that, right? I'm being flexible. I'm meeting them where they are because I know that they have other responsibilities. But her
yeah.
answer was a confirmation of the Lord because she told me, I want to do two things. And I was like, oh, she knows what she wants, two things. She says, I want to be a wonderful wife and a wonderful mother. Those are my priorities in life right now. And I can see that. She is a wonderful human being. I'm honored, again, as I'm honored to be my son's mother. I'm honored to be her mother in law and support them in the journey. And now get to love on her family because her mother and I get along. And, it's just
Oh,
beautiful. And then her brothers, her brothers look up to my son as maybe, like an older brother. My son works, he's a police officer, and he's doing a lot of wonderful things out there for the community. But I'm just so blessed to have this life that I designed for myself, that God said, this is what I have for you. And are you willing to accept this? Right. And I accept everything that He has provided me. And I just feel honored and blessed every single day, despite the challenges, right? I'm not saying that my life is perfect, whatever that
sure.
means. I have challenges, but I have a strong faith that helped me move through those challenges that I face every single
Yeah. So you said, you're close with her family,
day. Yes.
which is a beautiful gift because it doesn't always happen,
Mhm.
right? And sometimes it's that not that families don't get along; they don't even live near each other, right? So
Right.
so you can't connect that that often because you don't see each other, which you get to do that. When it comes to like moms and grandma, then they become grandmas and kids get married. And then I find, because I'm in a lot of female circles, there's a lot of talk about, oh, they're not including me. And they have these expectations, right? So much of life, I think, comes down to expectations not met. And
Yes.
just like a bride has they have their dream wedding and what it's all going to look like and what they hope for the future. But so do parents. And we don't realize that until we're in it, right? And I love the fact that you said, I'm flexible, whatever.
Yes.
You're there to meet them. What do you say to women? What's like one piece of advice that you would give women who maybe are feeling like that, feeling the disappointment, like I wish they would include me more, and
Yes.
how come they don't let me in everything?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think moms mean to, but they love their kids so much. What would you say to a mom like that who's feeling kind of disappointed?
Yes. I feel that at times we get disappointed because we have expectations that are not met, right? That's what
Yeah.
disappointment is.
Totally.
But I feel that we as human beings need to find the joy and peace within ourselves and hold the space for others, but don't demand them to include us in their life. What I mean with that is I have to be mature enough in my spirit to know that
Yes.
I don't have to be included in every single activity that they do. And I don't get invited to every activity, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
every moment that I have to spend with my little Evian or my daughter-in-law or my son, I just treat them as a treasure time. There's no phone, there's no nothing, like they have my attention, right? So I would invite those people to align themselves with their emotions, but also build relationships. Because if we don't have a relationship, right, we feel left out. Invest in yourself, grow, be stronger in your faith, and know that everything is working for your favor.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about your grandson. Are you one of these grandmas? I just have to ask another, because I ask all grandmothers this, because they'll either say to me, and you know this, they'll say, grandchildren are even better than your own children. You know that? Are you a believer of that?
I feel that that's such a great question. I feel that the love is infinite for my family. So to me, I I feel very special holding my son's son. It's just
Yeah.
I can't compare the love. Like I can't even no.
Thank you.
No, I can't compare the love. It's unmeasurable. It's so unique. It's so special. Just like my
Yes.
sons and my daughter-in-law and everybody around me, right? I I I don't know. I don't believe that. I think everyone is so special to me, and I feel that I get to love them, and that's the treat. And I guess that would be different, right? You get to love two different human beings, but not to compare. I don't like comparing.
No, I hear this over and over again. And, at first I was like, oh, I was on my second grandchild. I'm like, I don't get it yet. I just don't get it. Now, I still have my young is a senior in high school. So I still have kids at home. My 24-year-old's still at home. So I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm not an empty nester. So I don't have time. I don't know if I'll ever be I just want to sit and rock grandbabies. I don't know if that's going to be who I'll be as a grandma, but I just haven't caught the bug of, oh, they're so much better. I think I have 5 of the coolest kids on the planet. And I even say to my daughter, your kids are pretty darn cool, but my kids I still think are the coolest. And I adore, like I call my kids the bigs and my grandkids the littles. And when I look at each one of her, because it's my oldest who have all 5 of my grandkids, and in some way they're either like mom or dad, I could see it, which is so special. But what I love most about being a mom and grandmom is when I go to actually see my grandbabies is to actually serve and just love on my daughter while I get to see her parent. I just think that's the sweetest joy. It's like, I'll clean, or let me do something. I'll cook dinner or something. So then she could care for her kids. And So I'm so happy that you said that because most
Yeah.
grandmas don't agree with me. They're like, oh no, because then you get to send them home. And I'm like,
Well,
okay.
but I also maybe my upbringing has been a little different, right? Because I feel like it is my responsibility as a grandmother to educate my grandson as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't just be spoiling him and just doing all these things, but how can I be a support to my daughter-in-law and to my son, right? How can I
Yeah.
do that when Avian grows older? And now, how can I be a support for them so they can also have their relationship, so they can also work out together, so they can also do things like that? I tell you, last week for the first time, I spent 5 hours with Evian by myself, and I was a little nervous about it.
Oh, were you tired?
Hurting. I
Yep.
was holding him and just, allowing my son and my daughter-in-law to go work out together and to do things that they used to do before Aiden came to their lives. So I just feel like it's an honor to do that and to be a support, like you said, right? How can we
Sure.
support them so they can have, time for them together, but also time for the family and time for them to grow as a strong
Yeah.
family. And I think
How
it
do
takes
you?
a whole village, right, to do that.
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah. They say it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to live life. I
indeed.
don't, we can't do it alone. It's impossible. You
I
just
agree
can't do
with
it
you.
alone. Yeah. Speaking of work, life, family, but how do you balance? What are some ways that you've learned? Because people say this all the time, like what's normal? How do you get balance? How do you do it?
I strongly believe that having your priorities. What are your priorities in life? And I don't know if you've seen that exercise of the wheel of life, right? The wheel of life has
You do it.
yes, I do the wheel of life, right? And everyone asks me like, how do I keep this ball rolling? And I want to be a 10 in all the areas. And I always
Yes.
said it's not realistic to be thriving at 10, every single time. Something has to give in. And I think that we need to understand what are our core desires. Like for me, it's my faith, my family, my job, serving others. So how can I actually incorporate that into my daily living? I'm a very structured individual. So I like to create like a weekly plan. I need to know who I'm going to contact, not only for my business. And I feel like a lot of the principles from our business, we could implement it into our personal life and we will have a
Mhm.
different outlook in life, right? So for
Yeah.
me, I use a planner. I understand what my priorities are at that particular season of my life because we go through different seasons even throughout the year or
No kidding.
even throughout the month, right? Our priorities might have
Yeah.
started this, and then we have to be able to shift and pivot. And I think that that's one of the things that I encourage people not to compare ourselves, but find out what do I want? What is that
Yeah.
life that I want to have? Who do I want in my life? And what kind of stress level do I want to live under, right? Because
Hmm.
sometimes it is so stressful that we want so many things and we don't have the time to accomplish. And then there's discouragement. There's so many
Yeah.
other emotions that come with us not meeting our own expectations.
Yeah.
So I focus in three priorities. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I was just, when you were talking, I was looking, just so you know, I did my homework. You
Yes,
have us doing the Wheel of Life. This is the second time I'm doing this now because you did it when you spoke for the Women's Chamber, and I love it. So if anybody wants to do it, we'll put your contact information in with the
yeah.
show notes because you do this with your clients. So tell me about your business.
Yes. And before I move on to my business, I would
Yeah.
encourage like people to do it every 3 months. Don't wait until next year to do
Mm,
it. Or even if you need to every single month, do the wheel of life exercise. So you know, am I heading the right direction? Are my priorities changed? How
yeah.
come I feel discouraged? It would be a good tool to have in order for you to continue to um, to find that balance, if balance is the word we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that anymore? But why every 3 months?
The reason I do it every 3 months is because I think when we are developing new habits, it takes approximately 21 days, right? But if we implement it for 3 months, we're going to be able to understand, are we making progress? Do I need to change something? How do I feel about it? The 21 days is developing the habit. The second month is like I'm in practice mode. And the third month, I'm in execution mode, right? Like I'm really gaining momentum. And maybe you start seeing results and maybe you don't. And that's when discouragement comes in, right? So checking in with ourselves and finding, okay, where am I heading to? What does that direction look like? How can I continue to develop this habit? Or do I need to ask for help and support another way? Right.
Yeah. So, all right, then quick question. If you're doing it every 3 months, and so you have this wheel, um, are you at the place, because obviously you created this, and are you at a place now in life where it's like you just feel like the third month is coming and let me check in with myself? Or do you physically have to take this back out every 3 months?
I actually, in my planner, it is every 3 months that is filed in my planner. So that way there's no negotiable, there is no question. And I like comparing. Oh, I noticed in this area, I was maybe not satisfied with that area, but I have improved and work on that. Or this month, because of what's going on in this season of my life, I think I need to go back in this area, but improve this area. So I like touching. I like paper.
Me
So
too.
I do print it out and I do have it with me to make sure that I have it physical. I have a little planner. I still do everything electronically, but I do have a physical planner that I actually design myself to meet my own needs, depending on what's
Yeah.
going on in my life at that particular season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you do this with some of your clients, or maybe all of your clients. So you are an executive coach, and uh, you're an emotional intelligence executive coach. What is that?
Yeah, so I am honored to say that, well, I need to start with a little bit of my journey, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
Growing up, my dad used to have a landscaping company, and my mom used to have a house cleaning company. And I used to go to the bank with them. And I remember going into the bank and seeing these beautiful ladies behind the register with beautiful long nails and beautiful high heels. And I used to tell my dad, when I grow up, I'm going to be a businesswoman. I'm going to work at the bank because I want to wear those high heels and I want to get my nails done. And I
So,
remember that has been like, that was my journey
I
growing
love
up.
that.
And when I actually turned 19, I went in an interview at a bank. I never worked before. I was only allowed to work at the company for my family. I didn't even know a resume existed. So I go in there and apply
Wow.
for this position. And I walked in like I owned that place. I'm like asking questions. Tell me more about this. What is this job? What are you going to do? Who
Wow.
are you looking for? Like just a natural asking question. And the job that I was hired for, hire and stay to work the same day, was as an underwriter and collection. What in the
Oh
world
my
was an
gosh.
what in the world was an underwriter? I had no idea at that particular point, but my job was to approve loans for those people that were coming in, and then also making phone calls to those people that were past due with their payment. And I'll tell you, that's when my journey began. I became a manager, a branch manager at the age of 21. I hired my executive coach for the first time when I was 21 because I noticed that I needed some support and some skill sets, leadership. Now I'm leading individuals that are older than me, that they could be my grandparents, right? I'm
Hmm.
leading,
Hmm.
and I'm 21 years old, very young, and but I have this desire to succeed, desire to add value to others, and that's how my journey started. I met John C. Maxwell when I was 22 years old, and
Wow.
John C. Maxwell is a leadership. He's a writer, he's a leadership coach, consultant, a beautiful human being. And I started reading all of his leadership books. So 21 Laws
Mm.
of Leadership, the 5 levels of leadership, everyone communicates if you connect.
Yeah.
So many wonderful books. He has written over 115 books, if I remember that correctly. And I remember I used to be nicknamed the loan machine because I would figure out a way to underwrite loans to be able to help people achieve their goals financially. Purchasing a
Wow.
house, buying their car, consolidating debt, home improvement, whatever that was. An opportunity came to me. And they're like, okay, you want to promote yourself? We need you to transfer to Oregon. I'm like, I go to Oregon, I'm okay with that. Never been to Oregon, didn't know where Oregon was. I mean, all of these things. And
Wow.
I packed my son, and at that time, my ex-husband, and we moved to Oregon, started a career here, and became a John C. Maxwell certified leadership coach here in Oregon, and just developed a lot of the teams in the banking industry, my staff members, and all of that. So after 20 years, I decided to retire my banking career and open my own coaching and consulting office to be able to help individuals really find success. My mission is to help people thrive, and that's specifically navigating with confidence in their leadership, the confidence that I didn't have when I was a brand new leader.
Sure.
Emotional intelligence, right? How can we understand our own emotions? And then also being able to understand others' emotion in order for us to be able to lead. Leadership skill sets, how can we influence others in order for them to be successful, but also for them to be able to create the life that they imagine. So I started building
Yeah.
all those relationships and started gaining all those skill sets, and that's how emotional intelligence came about. I strongly believe that emotional intelligence contributes to 57% of our success in life. Really understanding what emotional intelligence is really shaped my life and helped me become a better leader.
Okay, so you were in the banking industry 20 years. So you had a career, it was going strong.
Yes,
I have to say before I go into this question though, so I'm in your mastermind
yes,
and the last we started reading Think and Grow Rich, right? We're talking about persistence.
yes,
And I can't like the role persistence sounds like played in your own life.
yes.
Strong girl, daddy, I want
Hmm.
to from
Yeah.
that statement,
Hmm.
at least through what we just heard of 20 years, like look, you just walked in the building, it's like you owned it, you were
Yeah.
persistent and
Yeah.
you took hold of that and that became your career.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
inspiring.
Yes. And that's one of the things like sometimes we have to be aware enough, have the self perception to cast that vision for what we desire. And I'll share another story real quick. So
Yeah.
back when I was little, I started cleaning houses when I was about 11 years old. And I would go into these beautiful houses. I remember walking into this beautiful house that was at the golf course. And walking into, I was cleaning this gentleman's office. He had a lot of books. I'll show you a little bit around. He had a lot of books.
Uh-huh.
I'll show, right? And he had a window looking at that direction. And I was cleaning a little frame. I remember it was like a sunflower, and I was cleaning it with my mom and just dreaming. I said, one day I am going to have an office um, like this with a lot of books with a beautiful view of whatever that's going to be. But I continue to clean this cute little frame, continue to clean it. And a couple of years ago, I realized that I'm living at the house that 11-year-old girl dream about. I am so blessed to live at a small golf course. I have this beautiful view. I have my books, my babies, I call them.
Uh-huh.
These are my
Uh-huh.
tools and resources. And these are physical things, but it's a
Yeah.
testament of what God can do in your life, right?
Yeah.
It's a testament that if you're persistent, if you have a strong desire, if you know what I want, with faith, with persistence, with grit, with endurance, if you're
Hmm.
being, if you have grace with yourself, you can accomplish anything you want in life. But sometimes we don't know what we want in life, right? So
Absolutely.
I want to encourage your audience to dream and dream big without any limitations, to believe
Hmm.
that they're capable of achieving great things because everything that you want is in your reach if you believe, right? If you're willing to believe, because I believe that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my faith, for persistence, for the willpower. I am a go-getter, as people would say, but I can't do it alone,
Yeah.
right? And that means that God needs to be part of my equation. And that
Sure.
to me has been a tremendous success for that,
Now,
right?
do you ever do vision boards? Because I love to do a vision board because it takes what's kind of stewing inside me and I just get it out, make it pretty. And I found that I complete more things and I see it happen just by putting it in paper and looking at it. Maybe not every day. Some years I look at it every day, and for others I can forget a day or two, or go through that. But when I visually see it and read it, there's something that's just different. And I used to not get into that stuff, but I did it one year, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm probably, I don't know, 9 years in at this point. And do you do that at all?
Every single year. And I'll tell you another short story about that.
Yeah.
So last year, in January, I started putting my dream board together. And there was one thing in December that I didn't accomplish on the dream board. So I called my son and I said, Sonny, I said, honey, this is what's going on. I put in my dream board my grandbaby, and I don't have a grandbaby, and I have no control over that. Just whenever it
That's
checks,
right.
whenever she can
Can you
with me.
help? Can you help a mama out? Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so I actually cut out a picture of a baby and put it in my dream board last year.
Wow.
And so December came about. December 25th, I went over to my son's house and he's like, I have a present for you, Mom. So he gave me my present and I said, oh, thank you. This is beautiful. And he's like, oh, I almost forgot this other present. And I said, oh, you have another one for me? And I said, yes. So anyways, he brings me a box. I opened this box and it's a little t-shirt that says, Grandma, I'll see you in August.
Oh my gosh.
So
I love that.
I love dream boards. I strongly believe in them. I have it where in my house, when I get ready every single morning, I look at my vision and I know that it's gonna be coming true. Like I don't even have to question it. I just know I act and I live like it's already part of my life. I tell you, I am in this journey of weight loss and trying to lose weight. And I just act like I'm already the weight that I am because I know I will make it there and I know I will be there. And that has come with encouragement. That comes with a lot of discipline. My muscles hurt. Sometimes I'm tired to get up at 5 o'clock to work out, or probably in the evenings, feeling like I have to be flexible. But I just have to persist. I just have to do it. And there will be a reward of all this persistent and discipline that I have in my life in that particular area.
Yeah. I didn't call it a vision board back then, but probably one of my favorite vision boards that I didn't realize actually until I was talking to you, it actually was my vision board. I was a single mom at the time, and I had dated guys where I hit this point in my life where I was just went, I'm done. My babies are it for me enough. Like I don't pick out the right guys. And I just got this like nudge inside is to, you know what? I'm just going to write down everything you want in a man, in a partner for life. Because what I knew as a single mom is I'm not now thinking just of me. I'm thinking of my kids. Right. So I just wrote out this list. He would, and every characteristic, I just made my list till I was done. It wasn't all that long, really. It wasn't so detailed, but I made it. And it was like, you know what? Just me and my babies. I had 2 kids at the time. Just me and my babies. I tucked it in a drawer. And I went, unless I find a guy who lines up with that, I'm done. And I just tucked it and went away. And I don't know how long. It couldn't have been much longer after that, because I started this new job. And it was right after I started that I made this list. And I met this man who came walking up, introduced himself, and within, I don't know, a month, he asked me to join him for lunch. Long story short, 2 months later, we were engaged. 10 months later, we were married, and we've been married ever since. And it was like, when he asked me out on the date, it was on the first phone call that he was going through, like, just talking about what he did. I mean, he was just telling me, we didn't know each other, so he was just telling me about himself, and it was like, check, check, check. And then it was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy. This guy lines up to everything I wrote down. And then, but it was more like tuck it away. And it was all the older ladies. Of course, they were like my age. Now I'm their age, but I called them older ladies back then. It was like, they would hold up like, call Patrick, and I'd be like, I'm not calling him. I'm done dating. And then sure enough, I had to ask that same lady who would hold up cards to be a reader in my wedding, because she was persistent. Like, he's a good man. Nah, I get all the jerks, not looking. And so that was my first really vision board, I think, was
Yeah.
doing that. And I just think, don't stop dreaming. Same thing. Don't stop dreaming, because your
Yes.
dreams really can come true. And they may seem crazy, but if they're not, if they don't sound crazy, or they don't feel true to you, then we're just kind of like floating,
Mhm.
not going anywhere, right?
Yes, and I agree with you. And first of all, congratulations. What a
Thanks.
testament to those even women, right, that said, good men doesn't exist. I strongly believe that they do exist. I strongly believe that there's a lot of gentlemen out there that are looking for that specific person. If you're watching this today, there's somebody looking for you. That's something you
Yeah.
desire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I strongly believe that. But I think it's so true. Like, we need to get crystal clear on what we want,
Correct.
and then give it to God, and he's gonna do his thing. He's gonna prepare you. I would always ask myself, like, if I want this, who do I need to become to achieve this that I want?
Absolutely.
Right? Because I think that there needs to be a transformation of ourselves too, in our journey of obtaining whatever we want in life. So not only making the list, but asking, who do I need to become? Right? Who do I need to become? Where do I need to grow myself? Right? What does that look like for me? And
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need to prepare ourselves for that moment, for that person,
Yep.
for that job, for whatever we desire for a family. Right? How can I be prepared to receive them into my home when they come over? How can I be prepared to walk into their space when they're ready? When they're ready to see me, or they're available to see me, or how can I show up for others in the settings that I'm going? Who do I need to become? It's not that we're being fake, but sometimes we have so much layers that doesn't allow us to see the beauty that exists around us. So I strongly believe in, like, cleansing myself, doing a little prayer before I walk into any space, and said, guide me, protect me, and guide my words, my thoughts. Let me see the
Sure.
world through your eyes, because
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. And I believe that beauty exists everywhere we go, but sometimes we don't have the right glasses, right, to be able to see all
Absolutely.
the beauty, because we've been hurt, because something has happened to us, because some other people let us down. But not everyone is the same. So encourage your audience to give yourself that opportunity. What about if you were to give that person that opportunity? What about if you give yourself that opportunity of forgiveness, of worthiness? You're worthy of success, whatever that might be. You're worthy of anything that your heart desires.
Yeah. And, I don't know about you, but I find, not just in myself, as I work with people, is that so often they will discount and lay down their dream or their vision or their goal or whatever. What they'll lay that down. And really, I find that so much of our dreams, goals, desire, whatever you want to call them, they aren't so wrong. I mean, I as I look back on mine, it's not that I got it wrong. It's that my expectation on that. When we have an expectation, it's like a timestamp. It has to look a certain way, and if it doesn't, we go, "Oh, well, it's not happening. I thought it was going to happen this way," and because it doesn't happen that way, we just think I got it wrong, or that'll never happen. I tried it already a lot of times. It's just not working out. And don't you find, Lucy, that it's not so much that we get it wrong. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's the lens I'm wearing of how I see it has to happen or look like. Do
Mm,
you ever notice that? It's like, oh, it's not that
yeah.
it's the dream is wrong or the goal or vision for your life is off. It's maybe you're actually we become really rigid inside when it has to look a certain way.
Yes, I feel sometimes, and thank you for sharing your thoughts, because I feel that sometimes also our environment is not
Yeah.
supportive of our desires,
Yeah.
right? Our environment is not equipped or ready to be able to take the next step, because your vision might be brighter, bigger, and their vision is not there yet, and that is
Yep.
okay, right?
That's right.
Um,
Totally.
so when I think about your podcast name and I think of grit, I think it is the faith of motion, right? Sometimes you have to work on silence, right? You have to be silent,
Hmm.
working in yourself until everybody gets on board, until little by little everyone start to join you. So if you feel like your vision um, is not clear, or you don't have the support you need, look for support, pray about it, once you're ready to receive those opportunities and those doors will open. And I think that grace also reminds me of I have control, the power under control, meaning that I have the strength to lead first myself, right? Because we can't lead others until we lead ourselves. But how can we be calm, kind, persistent, right? And in order for us to work under those pressures or those discouragements, I had a huge discouragement this weekend. I cried about it. I got it out of my system and I move on because it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel all of those emotions. They're important.
Mhm.
That means that you care. That means that there's something that needs to be shared, but also it's okay to say, you know what? It didn't work out that way, but I'm going to try plan B and then
Yeah.
plan C. So another thing that I want to tell your audience here is when you have a dream, when you have a goal, make a list of 20 ways that you can accomplish that goal.
Ooh, that's
20,
good.
20. Why? Because you're going to try line one and it's not going to work out. Guess what? You have 19, another, 19 options that you can go and try. So you try the
Oh, I
other one
like that.
and you try the other one and you try the other one until you achieve whatever you desire. And I learned that from I think it's Brian Tracy. I was watching a
Oh,
video
yeah.
many years ago, and I learned that. And whenever I have a goal, I do that.
Mm,
I create all these possibilities of how I accomplish that specific goal, and that way discouragement will come, but you could regain momentum right away. And I say, wait a minute, I have 19 other options, right, to make this thing happen. What else can I do?
I like that. That's just a really great way to see that. And I've never done that before. That's a good tip. I like that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It keeps you open to seeing it again. It's one thing. My son actually, he is a filmer and editor out of high school. He's like, Mom, I'm going to be broke for a while, but I'm going to try to live, reach my dream. Awesome. And, years after that, I asked him, so many don't make it. And you just keep going, and I've never forgotten what he said this because it spoke to me. And it's this kind of thing. It's like there's 20 ways to do a thing. Just try the next thing, try the next thing. And he goes, I said, how come it's not that he's never experienced the nose? Because he did. And he goes, I just don't let discourage, like, I don't stay discouraged long. He didn't say he didn't feel it. He just, like, he doesn't get stuck there. He keeps going. It's really inspiring. And that's kind of, when you said it, it made me think of exactly what he does because it's just, okay, you tried one way that didn't work. Now you have 19 others or
Yes.
5 others or 10 others, but there's always another option, right?
Yes, I strongly believe that, and don't be nervous or don't feel like you're being an inconvenience for looking for help, support, mentor, coaches, books,
Yep.
anything that is going to support you in that vision. And I think that sometimes we always feel like, oh, I don't have the financial means to do this. Well, you never know if you ask somebody to be your mentor that they can do that for free. So
Yeah.
I always said, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. But
Yeah.
if you ask, there's a 50% possibility that they would say yes, right?
Hmm.
So ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, and so you coach all kinds of people, but like, what's your favorite? Because there's all kinds of coaches, and there's all kind of coaches that do all different things in different groups and people. Like, what's your favorite?
Yes. I love working with women. I wish I had a mentor growing up. I didn't have the role models at home to follow as far as like how to become an executive, how to, I my dream when I started in banking is to hold the highest position of banking. And then I realized that that's not what I wanted after all. Right.
Mm.
I was chasing the dollar. I wanted to make the highest salary. I wanted to be sitting in the best office with the best position. And that's what I realized that I thought that was a definition of my success. But
Yeah.
later on, I learned that I love mentoring others. I love seeing the best
Mm.
in people. I love providing spaces where others come in and build trust, and together we can find the roadmap to success. I love working with women or individuals who desire more of their life, the desire to make an impact, to leave a legacy, right? And whatever that might mean to them. It could be in leadership, it could be in their families, it could be in in their business. It could be in their relationships, whatever that might be at that time. As a business consultant, I get to go into companies and work with the business owners, with the team, to be able to create a culture where it shows leadership, communication, teamwork,
Yeah.
respecting one another. And then the one-to-one coaching that I do is I also do one-to-one coaching to help people establish their business. Rather is a landscaping company to a construction company to a real estate agency to an insurance company. That's the beauty about my expertise, that I spent 20 years working with every single industry you can think of. And I tell you a short story about, I remember one time I just moved into Oregon. And of course, I'm from Southern California. So over there is beautiful, sunny, nice weather. And I was invited to tour a farm. So I show up with high heels and a skirt. Okay. And the farm that I went to visit is in Woodburn, and it's a sherry farm. So the gentleman wanted to help me. It's like, no, I want you to get in this tractor. We're going to go tour the farm. So you could only imagine me in my high heels and my skirt trying to climb out that tractor. And I feel that we need to dress. And when I say dress, not in the physical, but also in the mindset to achieve what we desire in life and to serve others. And that's exactly what I do with my company. I meet people where they are, and I help them get what they desire.
But you just said something. It was like you got to dress. Say that again. Not just
Yes,
dress on the outside, but say it how you
mentally.
said it.
Yes,
That's
mentally,
good.
right? Mentally, because like for example, in that particular scenario that I was sharing with you, right? If I wasn't mentally ready, I would have probably have refused to get the tour,
Mhm.
right?
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'm not ready for this. Or sometimes our biases, get in the way of us truly serving others. So how can
Hmm.
we show up authentically in a way that I am here with you, I'm listening to you, I'm here to serve you. And
Yeah.
in that space of service and being mentally ready to receive the information, you can be so creative. You can provide so much more support. You could bring other people around this business, around this individual that truly needs the support. And I think for me it's so important that I bring others to support that business owners, because I can't do everything. I can
Yeah.
do leadership assessments, emotional intelligence assessment, 360, understanding the business. I can do a business assessment, but there are certain things that I'm not good at, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
the first one to admit, you know what, that is not as my expertise, but I know this other person that can support you. And together we're going to help you be successful. And I think
Yeah.
that
Collaborating.
yes, that takes a lot of courage to collaborate with others, even though
Mhm.
they're in the same industry. And I'm okay with that. I'm a
Yeah.
collaborator. I like to build other people and really help others have the growth mindset.
Speaking of growth, legacy, and inspiration, you make a huge impact in our community. I want to. Can we just chat for a little bit about your book fair?
Oh,
Because that's like
yes.
this is even beyond work, and you have such a heart for you and I live in Salem, Oregon, and you make such an impact not only on our generation, but it's a lot of the younger generations. Tell me, where did that even initial vision or dream come from? I'm going to start a book fair.
Yes. So I actually had a desire to publish my first book. I was like, oh, I'm not an author, but I'm going to try to do this. And it was very difficult for me to publish the first book because I don't know how to publish a book.
Yeah.
So I did ended up publishing the book, and I noticed that there was a lot of people that were interested.
Mhm.
I remember here in Salem, Oregon, there's a coffee shop that is called Icebox. So I rent the Icebox, the whole
Okay.
downstairs, the ballroom, and
Mhm.
hosted and put about 100 chairs. And my friends used to tell me, Lucy, I am so sorry to tell you this, but this room was way too big and you have way too many chairs. Typically in a book signing, you get about 5 to 6 people to come to a book
Yes,
signing.
yes, if you're
So
lucky.
so don't get discouraged. This is too many shares. And I said, don't you worry about a thing. My community is going to respond. Sure enough, the day came in and I had 115 people that came to my book signing.
Wow.
I published the book. The title of the book is in Spanish, but it's Dare to Be a Successful Woman. I published on International Woman Day. And
Mm.
then,
Oh, wow. That's cool.
yes. And then the first day of spring, I wanted to do the in-person book signing. I had people, I mean, I had a line of people waiting for me to sign their book and get a picture. They have mountains of book because I released that on Woman International Day in March, and I
Wow.
didn't have the book signing until, the 21st. So it was just beautiful. And then I went back and took a tour from the state of Oregon, went to bookstores and libraries and you name it. I was at the farm with different people, just doing book signings and things like that, bringing the book. The first chapter of my book, I did a research on the woman from the Bible, and I wrote about what legacy are they giving us, right? What is their legacy and how can we embrace the legacy? And then I talk about other topics that are important, such as self-esteem, communication, what holds us back in achieving our success, what are some of the fears that hold us back. I also talk about how to look for a mentor, what is a coach, how can you look for a coach, what is that like? And then I closed with investigation from different women like that created a big impact, such as who created the GPS, and all this beautiful investigation that I
Wow.
went into a very, very beautiful book. And my second book is The Art of Self-Fulfillment. And this second book, I didn't want to publish alone. I said, I
Mm.
want others to have access to literacy. I want others to have a space of belonging. I want others from all over the world, if possible, to come and join me in this book fair. So I did. I hosted a book fair, and you were just like, I don't know what you're doing this. People don't read books nowadays. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna come. you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
Again,
What year was that?
this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were telling me, like, I don't know why you're doing this. You're not going to receive people to come. We have over 500 people that came to the book fair. It was
Wow.
noon, and people were at the door waiting to come in because we open at 12:30.
Wow.
We had authors, writers, publishing house, artists, community leaders, the libraries. All of them came and celebrated the Oregon Book Fair. That's the name of the event, Oregon Book Fair. And this was our second year on May 25th, May 24th, 25. And we had 1,200 people came to the book fair this time.
Wow.
And I was able to create such a beautiful collaboration with so many organizations. And I think that that's the beauty, about having the support from the community is having the book fair to be a place of belonging. The book fair is in Spanish and English. And I strongly believe that there is a huge need for that.
Yeah.
In our community come together. I would say we were able to donate 300 books. We had maybe over 45 authors, writers, artists
Wow.
participating. There were people traveling from other parts of the country that came to the book fair from other parts of the state. We had the city of Salem there. We had so many other wonderful things happening. We issue a scholarship to a student that is going to university. We had a poetry contest. We also had a community hero award because I strongly believe that there's a lot of silent heroes that are making huge impact in the community. So the community submitted those surveys, um, nominating a community member that is making an impact. And it was just wonderful. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to be able to display this to our community and to have, we had approximately, I would say about 40 sponsors that came
Wow.
in and wanted to be part of it.
It's
Um,
incredible.
and 1,200 people, and it was just beautiful to I had the honor of leading this and creating this for our community. And my desire is that one day somebody else will carry on my legacy.
That is so amazing. I did read that you had I saw the picture of the brave, you called her a brave woman fighting for her dreams, igniting hearts with her inspirational message. So
Yes,
this was a girl going off to college, right?
yes, yes. Her story is also beautiful because she is from Mexico, and
Yeah.
when she was 14 years old, she left her family to pursue her education here in the U.S.
Wow.
So just think aligns so beautiful, and the impact that when I ask her, is like, oh, what is your deepest dream? And she's like, I want to get my education so eventually I can support my family. hmm So
It's incredible.
the book fair is more than books. You know, it's transforming lives, it's bringing community together, it's uniting families. Because it
Mm.
was so beautiful to have like a children's area where the family would come in and sit down, and a local artist or author is reading their book, and it was just absolutely beautiful.
Wow. And so it's coming again next May 2026?
May 16th, that's the vision, providing that, that everything is going well in the community. May 16, 2026.
Wow. And so people could just find that on your website, if they're interested to kind of follow you and keep an eye on that date and how to.
Yes. We have a website. It's called the OregonBookFair.org. We also have a Facebook account, and we have an Instagram account as well.
Yeah. I saw that. You're like you even have TikTok.
Yes, I'm in all the platforms right now, with the book fair as well as with my company, Coach Lucy Escobar.
Okay, you are in the same generation as I am. Do you have a favorite social or I don't even know what it's called, handle platform? So you even know them better than I do, that you like better than the others. Like what's your playground?
I like them all.
Do you?
I do. I feel like it's a way for me to stay connected with my community.
Yeah.
There are people there that I would never meet. There are
Yeah.
people that are reading my book that just send me messages, and I would never have the opportunity to meet them in person.
Yeah.
But these books are transforming their lives, and they're so, I'm just honored that there's millions and millions of accounts, and for somebody to follow me, for somebody to say, I want to know what Lucy's all about. I want to be inspired by her, or I just want to know the way she thinks or how she's helping others. This is the place to be in my social media, or my website, LucyEscobar.com.
Yeah. I'm curious because I think everything in our life is a ripple effect, right? So I have
Yes.
two last questions for you. One, and you answer them however you want, but they're connected. One, what is your hope for our city? Because we live in the same city. We're in Oregon, Salem, Oregon. What's your hope for our city? And what is your hope for women today? Because there's so much going on that is so positive for women today.
Yes, I think that those are two beautiful questions, because there's nothing more that I want for a city to be a place of belonging,
Yeah.
a place of acceptance, a place where families could peacefully walk out and enjoy the park, go out and enjoy a meal as a family,
Mm.
go out to
Hmm.
the movies and don't feel like they're um, being persecuted in some cases.
Yeah.
I would love peace for our city, and not only for our city, but for the world. For the woman, or for your audience, for any person that is listening to us today, I just want to remind you that you belong.
Yeah.
That's what I desire for them. I want them to find a place of belonging, a place that you're enough, you're enough, you're enough, and you're enough. And I think that we don't get to hear that often, and sometimes we're the worst at criticizing ourselves for we're doing what we're not doing. What does that look like for us? So my desire and the message for the woman or your audience is, get grounded. Get
Mm.
grounded on what you want. Get grounded in your faith, because that's what's never going to go away despite of the ups and downs in life. Pause, breathe. There's always hope. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Remember that feelings come and go, and it's okay to have those feelings, but to know how to use them to your advantage, I think is so important, because discouragement could be used as, I'm feeling depressed and I'm feeling lost, or discouragement could be used as the fuel that I need to continue to move forward. Grow
It's
beyond your
good.
comfort zone, right? Grow beyond your comfort zone. And that sometimes is a scary moment. It's a
Yeah.
scary step to take. But if you do that, stay anchored in your identity and what you believe, because I think that now more than ever is the time for us to come together and really discover what is the meaning of life, what is the life that we want for ourselves. And if you're leading, self-awareness is the most important thing. Like, be aware of the way that you're communicating, because there's a big difference of saying, I want to support you, or I want to support you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how are we delivering messages? Stay persistent in your journey. I think that is also so important. Staying persistent, keep grounded in your purpose, and always believe that there will be a better moment, a better tomorrow. And whatever you're going through right now is not a definite, right? Things will change, you will evolve, and there's a bright future ahead of you despite of anything that is going on.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's a good message. Thank you for that. That was good for me to hear. Yeah. And I know, I am a full believer. We are best living shoulder to shoulder. And you are a woman who does live shoulder to shoulder. You support and encourage everybody to your right or left and in front and behind and next to. And I know if change is going to happen, you're going to be part of it. So, Lucy, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for sharing with me today. Is there any last thoughts? Did I forget anything?
No, I just want to thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my
Yeah.
heart for opening your podcast to welcome me into your space. I feel honored to be here. Remember, the grit is going to build that endurance that we want in life, but grace will build that influence, right? That we also desire to make. Together, we're stronger. And thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thanks, Lucy. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.